BEIZO is the acronym for Beyond Zoom. This is a project, AK2 of Erasmus Project of the European Union, that had the aim to try to help the educators and the trainer to well understand the new tools that the pandemic has introduced during these 2 years of isolation, let's say, in this way. We are constrict. In these last 2 years of the pandemic, we deal with this new instrument, a new way to learn and to teach to the people. That is a way that is not in presence but online. For sure, in the future, we will deal more and more with this kind of tools. And the idea of the project is to help the trainers to deal with these new tools, providing them some case study to well understand this new methodology of training and of formation itself. For this reason, we asked to Francesco and Rosaria to introduce us their experience. Francesco and Rosaria are two PhD of the University of Study of Basilicata that deal from many years with this topic of the distance training method, the online training method. So we think that they are the best person to talk about their own experience. So I don't steal more time to our guest, and I pass the words to Francesco and ask him to introduce himself and the training you want to show us. Please.
Okay. Hi to everyone, and thanks to Andrea for the introduction and for the invitation to these interesting activities. And I had the pleasure to read the abstract of the proposal of your project. That seems really interesting, really current, and it fits really well with our research activities that we want to share with you. So more than a single case study, we're trying to provide you with some implications, insights that are the results of our research and consulting activities in the field of learning spaces, learning environments, and learning tools. I'll try to share some slides with you. I'll try to share my screen. Okay, can you see the screen? I think so. Okay, so just some brief introduction of myself and on the topic we want to deal in this brief intervention. I start by myself, and then I leave the floor to Rosaria, that is my colleague. She's running a PhD on learning spaces and on virtual learning spaces. I'm Francesco Santarsiero, so I'm a research fellow at University of Basilicata and LUM University. Both are a university located in the southern Italy, and my research interests are on innovation, digital transformation, entrepreneurship, and knowledge management. In the meantime, I'm also an innovation consultant at Regione Basilicata, and I used to support local SMEs in implementing technology transfer, digital transformation initiatives. I ran in the past a PhD on innovation labs, innovation spaces that we define as environment that help support organization in fostering their innovation capacity, transformation capacities, and learning capacities, as we explain to you in the next slides. Also, Rosaria, also after the pandemic situation that imposed new changes in the learning environment in the education field, she's focusing on digital learning environment. So today, according to the aim of this interesting project, we're going together to try to answer to 5 compelling questions that I resume in this slide. So we looked together, we try to answer. So what are the features of the new business age? So we need to start from an introductory slide to try to understand what are the features of the digital age that are distinguishing the competitive scenario we are dealing with. Then what are the critical capabilities to navigate today's business landscape? So what are the skills organizations and people need to manage well this current landscape? Third, how to create a context fostering knowledge dynamics, and we look together at how knowledge and how and why knowledge dynamics are so relevant in this period, and then how to consider learning spaces in the digital age. So how to consider them and how to transform them from physical spaces into digital spaces for fostering the development of culture, mindset, innovation, and transformation. And then at the end, what are the critical human-centric factors affecting successful learning spaces? And here we leave you with some open questions that should be helpful to stimulate a final debate and common jointly reflection that should be helpful both for the development of your project and of our work. So after this brief and quickly introduction, we can start from the first question. So looking at this, at the current business landscape, we can define it with the acronym VUCA, where V means volatility, U uncertainty, C complexity, and A ambiguity. So it is a really complex world and landscape. And for example, we can look at the last event that completely affected our lives, like the COVID-19 pandemic or the military escalation, so the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, that completely changed the way we perceive business and the dynamics of this world. Yeah, because for example, you know, the cost of electricity and other goods is increasing too much. Also, the COVID changed completely the way we perceive our business and acted as an accelerator of already ongoing dynamics in terms of digitalization, digital transformation, and shifting to the digital world. Moreover, this context is distinguished by the presence of a lot of wicked problems. So the problems are so complex that you have to be highly intelligent and well informed just to be undecided about them. So wicked problems are those problems that have many possible solutions. And this also thanks to the digitalization, the technological process. New digital solutions allow to provide a lot of possible solutions to a single problem. So we try to understand together how we need to focus more on problems than solutions, because our problems, again, should be solved with several solutions. According to this, so the evolving business landscape is increasingly complex and uncertain. It challenges organizational systems to develop new capability for sustainability, for survival and growth. So what's matter in this period? So to organizations that want to stay competitive, want to gain a sustainable competitive advantage, need to transform themselves, need to innovate. And now, thanks to the technological process, also the awareness about the relevance of innovation is acknowledged among organizations. So the question is not anymore, do we need to innovate or not? But the question is how to perform innovation, how we should innovate successfully. And here in this slide, we look at we have a graphical representation of the situation. So how to manage well this uncertainty and complex world in order to have the control, to take the control of the situation. So we can control the situation, investing, focusing on the development of knowledge and innovation. And we can consider knowledge and innovation as a synonymous also because in our research, we define innovation as the generation of new knowledge, the generation, application, implementation, and exploitation of new form of knowledge. So knowledge dynamics represent the engine for the development of the capabilities for sustainability in the new business age. And so organizations need to develop capacity for innovation, capacity for transformation, for value orientation, and in this world. So organizations to face complexity need to become more flexible, more creative, more innovative, more intuitive, in order to adapt themselves to the changing digital world. And in a world where culture, where knowledge become even more relevant, important, one of the most important challenges for organization is that of setting up context, environment for developing knowledge and then to produce innovation. And here the relevance of the concept of learning space. Then we're going trying to focus on also on the broader aim of your project. So how to create a context fostering knowledge dynamics and digital transformation. Here, I just provide you with some quick working definition of learning space, but then in the second part of the intervention, Rosaria, my colleague, will explain you deeply in detail what are the definition of learning space and also what are the distinguishing features, the distinguishing dimensions of successful digital learning space. But here we want to focus first on a different perspective of digital learning space, because we are also the concept, the fields of learning space in the last year has been affected by a new transformation. So we are jumping in a transformation within a transformation. So we have to asking ourselves also how to try to digitize, how to digitalize learning space. So how we need to conceive them as a physical space, virtual spaces, or hybrid spaces. And here after defining a learning space as a platform of knowledge dynamics, to promote, facilitate, catalyze, and support cognitive experiences, supporting knowledge processes, we try to explain what are the perspectives we need to consider in the digital age in order to define and setting up a successful initiative, a successful learning context to develop knowledge and to allow organization to stay competitive or become competitive in a long run. We can consider two dimensions, two directions, two trajectories to perform digital transformation of learning spaces. So we have generally technology push or demand pull dimensions. The first one, technology push dimensions, is the most adapted. So technology push dimension means that is the technologies that drive the change, that lead the change. For example, during pandemic, training sessions, organizations that wanted to deliver training session was obliged to implement online digital platform to deliver activities. Otherwise, it was impossible to deliver sessions. So in that time, the technology, so the online platform, was pushing the change. Or, for example, now, what are the most advanced technologies? Metaverse or artificial intelligence or virtual realities are driving changes in some fields. But adopting this approach, we have some alarming data that we need to consider, because according to the last report provided by Forbes, the 70% of digital transformation initiatives fail. This because we can consider many reasons behind this data, but we can start saying that focusing exclusively on technologies and ideas is where the problem begins. Because if we focus only on technology when we want to change something, we want to digitize something, we may incur in different syndromes. For example, the so-called innovation theater. So where managers or organizations buy technologies or want to exhibit their own innovativeness, just buying the most advanced technologies and exhibiting them in their context, in their space. Or for example, if we have, if we're setting up an online platform to deliver training activities with many functions, many possible services to provide to our recipients, and our trainers are able only to use 2 or 3 of them. This is a sort of innovation theater. So we have technologies, but technologies are not effective, does not lead to achieve the desired results. At the same time, another syndrome should be that of create silos, innovation silos. So we imagine, we project a new online platform to deliver training, education, services, for example, and it is conceived as a silos, really far from the rest of the organization. So our colleagues, our also students or professionals, in the case of vet organizations, are not able to understand why those activities have been changed. So we need to try to change the approach, to engage them. Also because we need to consider what are the skills within our organization before considering to change something and to transform services, processes, and so on, in order to avoid the so-called skills mismatch. Because sometimes we buy, we're setting up an innovation space with 3D printers and cutting-edge technologies, but our staff do not have the right skills to manage well the solution we provide to them. For example, in the last days when I was preparing these slides, 2 articles came to my mind. Yeah, for example, what's happened? There's another data that, in my opinion, is really interesting. Yeah, for example, the 65% of students prefer in-person learning. This is a data that is a result of a recent survey after the pandemic. So this is because digital transformation is not only the digitization of activities, so the conversion from analogic to digital, but digital transformation is the result of a really well-structured process that need to consider many aspects. In the same way, also a learning environment to be digitally transformed need to consider some distinguishing features, some categories, some dimension that we're going to explain to you in the next slide. So it's not just to trying to transform in-person lessons activities into digital ones, but maybe we need to make more questions. For example, the training methods, the teaching methods are right also in a digital version, or we need to change something. We do not just to focus on the technologies that allow us to digitize or to deliver a lesson in a digital world, but we also focus on people, on students, on the desired results, and on the teaching methods, the approaches that allow to give also experience to students, to people, to recipients in general. And another article that came to my mind was that according to which the employees of the Meta company, so the Mark Zuckerberg's employees, do not understand the metaverse. So they are working for the metaverse, but they do not understand it. And also the title of the company is falling down extremely. This is why digital and digital transformation, to be effective, does not have to be disruptive. It's a relevant aspect to consider when you programming a digital transformation activity, or when you want to setting up some digital solutions, because you need to start from what you have, from what you are already delivering. So if you are already running some educational activities, some teaching, training activities, you need to start from them and try to deliver in a digital world, in a digital way, but starting from what you have, from your skills, looking at your context and also the context of recipients, of the market, of the evolution of the business landscape. So the demand pool trajectory dimensions is more appropriate in the digital world. Also because, according to what we said until now, digital transformation is not about technology, but digital transformation is about people. And we need to consider technology as an enabling factor fostering competitiveness that allow us to increase the quality of value generation, and the way of our organization meets the needs of people, of recipients, of employees, and of the whole organization. So we need to focus on people. We need to put people at the core of our transformation processes instead of technology. So the question is not, what is the most advanced technologies at the moment? So artificial intelligence, yeah, the solution is not hire the most advanced specialist in artificial intelligence and wait until he produce innovation. No, the question is to focus on needs. So how new business landscape have changed our needs? So what are the needs we have in these moments, and how technology, what is the right technology that should help us to meet these needs, to solve these needs, these problems, and so on. In the same way, another quote that I want to show you is that of falling in love with the problem and not with the solution. So technology may become the solution, but we need to fall in love with the problem, trying to understand what are our problems, what are the training problems, what are the skills we need to develop, what is the level of culture we need to produce in our organization. And according to this, we need them to find the right solution, find the right technologies that allow us to compete in a digital world and solve better what we want to solve. So innovation succeeds only if it represents an attempt to solve problems or unsatisfied needs. And then to conclude it, to leave the floor to my colleague in order to allow them to explain better our results, our research results in terms of digital learning space, looking at the dimension, the distinguishing features, and so on. It's important also to consider that innovation should be considered as an opportunity instead of a threat. And here is a crazy news, a crazy fact that maybe is a metaphor that allows us to understand how we need to approach to transformation of learning spaces. Because, for example, here in Australia, crows attack drones during delivering activities because they perceived drones as a threat to their natural habitats. It is because maybe they will not be engaged in the decisions of transforming these habitats. In the same way, if we make decisions alone, or if we leave that our organization or the manager of an organization will decide alone the transformation of some activities, there's the risk that employees and also recipients are not able to understand what's happening. But we need to engage them, to include them. So also the digitalization, the digital transformation of a learning environment should be conceived engaging, involving the entire organization. through participation in co-creation activities, also engaging final users, recipients, in order to understand their needs and trying to understand how to better deliver digital solution.